By now you have been fairly well introduced to the central nervous system, in fact the nervous system of humans. Now what we are going to understand is what are the components of the human nervous system. Now for understanding purpose you have been introduced to terms like stimulus, impulse and rest of the terms which are important for understanding the nervous system. Also you know that it is the neuron cell or the nerve cell which is the basic fundamental unit which would be carrying out all the functions which are necessary for the nervous system. So next we are going to see is how those fundamental units unite inside a system component and work together. So what we have is that there are two subsystems in the human nervous system. First one is the CNS and the second one is PNS. Now inside the CNS and PNS, if we expand these terms, we get a little bit of idea what these nervous systems are all about, what are the two subsystems going to, how they are going to work. So first of all we have CNS, that stands for central nervous system, and PNS which stands for peripheral nervous system. Now when I talk about the central nervous system, it gives an idea that it would be in the central part of the body, like brain and spinal cord are the parts of central nervous system. Then secondly we have peripheral nervous system, whatever would be arising from the central nervous system and going towards the peripheral sides of the body, that would comprise of the peripheral nervous system. And there are few terms which distinguish the central nervous system from the peripheral nervous system we are going to get introduced to. First of all you have to see that the central part, if represented in the way of a cartoon or a line diagram, it would be represented like this. This is the central part known as brain, and there is a very important component that subtends out of the central nervous system brain, that is known as spinal cord. Now you know this central nervous system, it works as an information processing unit, that is the information whichever that is carried from the stimulus towards the brain or the central nervous system, that would be processed inside it. Just in the case of the computer system, you have a CPU, that is central processing unit, and the RAM in which the processing of the information is done and the data is given out, that particular region has to be the main processing unit. In the same way the brain and the spinal cord is the processing unit of the body, where entire stimulus or whatever impulse is coming, that would be processed and a stimulus response would be generated out of the stimulus that has reached to the central nervous system. Now this brain and spinal cord give rise to many nerves out of them which go towards, which are present inside the body and innervate many systems, that could be the visceral systems, that could be the skeletal system, that comprise of the peripheral nervous system. So the central nervous system, the CNS, is represented by these two parts, and rest of the nerves which arise out of these, that represents the peripheral nervous system. Now apart from this distinction that one is having the main organs and other is not having, we have another terms which distinguish between CNS and PNS. Now you know the central nervous system has brain and spinal cord, and entire nervous system is made up of nervous tissue and nothing else. Nervous tissue which comprises of the neurons and the glial cells for the nourishment, which we come across when we read about animal tissues. So this entire system would have those glial cells and the neurons. Now if there is a bunch of neurons inside the central nervous system, that is known as nuclei, and if it is in peripheral nervous system, that is known as ganglion or ganglia, if we represent it in the plural way. First distinction is this, that nuclei belongs to the central nervous system. You are going to, whenever a term would be used that this dorsal nuclei or ventral nuclei or sensory nuclei, that would be present in the central nervous system, that is inside the brain or in spinal cord. And whenever we are talking about dorsal root ganglion, ventral root ganglion, or the rest of the ganglions that we would be using for understanding and the anatomical purposes, that would be peripheral nervous system. One distinction is this. Other distinction is there are two more terms, that is, one term is tract and the other term is nerve. Now we often use the term nerve in reference to the nervous system, the nerves have been twitched or the nerve brings the signal. So basically the tract is again the bunch of the axons, or there is a clustering of axons or the nerve tissue in the form of a thread or a fiber that would be present inside the central nervous system, and the nerve would be present in peripheral nervous system. So you are never going to find a nerve inside the brain or spinal cord. The nerves would be found always in the peripheral nervous system. Now here the question arises that what is a nerve? We are going to come to it, but before that, because we are talking how many types and subsystems are present inside the nervous system of human beings, so we are going to talk about neuroendocrine system as well. As the name suggests, something has to do with the nervous system and other has to do with the endocrine system, that is the endocrine glands which are involved in the release of hormones in the body, which along with the nervous system and under the control of CNS, that is primarily the brain, helps the body in maintaining various functions and homeostasis like activities. So there is the neuroendocrine system. Now when we are talking about these nervous system, we are going to individually talk about brain, we are going to talk about spinal cord, and we are going to talk about the PNS in detail. Before that, we need to know that what is a nerve. As I told you, it is the nerve fibers which are clustered together in the peripheral nervous system. Now inside a nerve, you are going to find a tough covering inside which you have the nerve, that is known as epineurium. Epineurium has many axons which are tied in the form or which are clustered in the form, and the term used for that is known as fascicles, and these axons, they are inside a tight tough covering that is known as perineurium. So you get to learn these terms that the entire nerve, that is many neurons together inside the peripheral nervous system, which take the information and bring the information, that is surrounded by a tough covering known as epineurium. This epineurium inside would have the cell bodies and axons. The axons, they would be together in the form of fascicles, and the fascicles would be covered by perineurium. Now talking about the PNS, apart from understanding what a nerve is all about, we have afferent nerves and efferent nerves which are present in the PNS. Now as the name suggests, afferent nerve stands for the sensory nerves. We know the basic terminology that afferent is something which brings the information to the central organ, and efferent is something which takes away the information from the central organ to the desired places. So the afferent nerves or the afferent neurons would be the one which would be sensory, that bring the stimulus towards the main part of the central nervous system, that could be brain or the spinal cord. These afferent neurons, they bring it to the central processing area where they are processed, and an information is sent to the target organ in the form of the response by efferent neurons or the efferent nerves, which is known as motor nerves. Okay, so we have sensory and motor neurons arising out of the peripheral nervous system. Now supposedly this is your hand, it has been twitched by this over here, this nerve has been innervated towards the organ, that is your hand, and this would be, hand is a voluntary organ, you know that. You can move your hand at your own ease. So basically the hand takes up the stimulus of a pin or a hot spoon. It takes up the stimulus, it takes it to the brain. Processing is being done that you need to hold a spoon or throw away the spoon. So that information goes through sensory neurons or the afferent nerves, and it is going to the central organ, from where the motor nerves are bringing the information or in the form of response. So from here the stimulus is taken up by the sensory nerves, that is the afferent nerves, which gets processed in the brain, from where the information comes towards the main organ, and that comes in the form of response by motor neurons. Now this is a voluntary reaction that has taken place. You want it or you do not want it. So whichever part of the peripheral nervous system comes and innervates those parts of your body which are under the voluntary control, that is known as somatic peripheral nervous system, or the other name for this is voluntary nervous system, voluntary PNS we are talking about. And instead of hand over here, supposedly this is something which is present inside your gut, or you talk about the diaphragm muscles. Diaphragm, you don't have control, direct control over the diaphragm, so that is under the control of brain, but that is not in the voluntary control, so that would be autonomic or involuntary peripheral nervous system, where it is the brain again which controls whatever movement is to be brought about. Same way the stimulus would be perceived by the organ would send it to the central nervous system would do the processing, information would be sent to the organ, but there would be no voluntary control. That means the brain controlling the voluntary actions. Now supposedly I am moving this hand, that is under my control. If I want to stop it, I can stop it over here, but the diaphragm is moving continuously. If you might have seen the other muscles of our body, involuntary muscles like those of the gut, there is a peristalsis movement which goes on, which is not under our control. So there is an involuntary system that is known as autonomic PNS, which is present along with the voluntary system, and these systems help the body to maintain its functions in a better and efficient manner, and nervous system is the one which is responsible for entire functioning of the body in a very coordinated way. That is why it is the control and coordination basically of the body which is the main forte of the system, and it is being carried out by these two subsystems and the neuroendocrine system basically, which is taking part in controlling and coordinating various functions of the body, which include the rest of the physiological functions as well.